It's kind of haunting me, but like in a good way. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Emma, and this is Bunny. You can't see her right now. Do you want to say hi? Hi. I'm going to be doing a wrap-up for the months of July and August because I never did one for those. Okay, so let's start with July. First off is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's just such a good book. I listened to the audiobook and it's just, you can't eat my planner either. I'm sorry. Again, like with Daisy Jones and the Six, I didn't really like the beginning of it. I was kind of like, maybe I'm just not into it, and then I got super into it. So the story just like broke my heart and stitched it back together like a million times, and it was so good. And I love just the Hollywood starlet like atmosphere, vibes, aesthetic, and I rated it 5 stars. Next up, I read Olive, and this follows a girl named Olive, and she doesn't want to have kids, and it kind of doesn't really know how to talk about that to her friends because her friends either have kids, are currently pregnant, or are trying to get pregnant. And it's kind of just about like those friendships and relationships, and also how she's dealing with it, and like that it shouldn't be such a taboo to not want to have kids. Overall, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. I thought it was funny, really entertaining, and I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read Meet Cute. This was so fun. So this is a collection of short stories that are all like meet cutes, and so they're like coincidental meetings or something. So you get to see them fall in love, and then it's kind of just over. So it kind of sucks because you don't get to see more of their relationship. No. It's kind of weird because you don't get to see like the rest of their relationship, so it's kind of sad, but it's also nice because you don't get to see like the fights or anything like bad that happens. You're left with this happy memory. And I read the first 2 stories and I loved them, and I kept reading and I was so shocked because I didn't dislike any of them. And it's a short story collection, and so it's a bunch of different authors, but I liked every single story. I thought each one was so interesting and so creative and so fun and cute. I loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. Next up, I listened to Gone Girl. Gone Girl... No. Gone Girl felt like that. The thing was, I already had spoilers for it. I watched a movie commentary on it because I figured I was never gonna watch the movie and I was never gonna read the book. Then I watched the movie commentary and I was like, that seems super interesting, I'm gonna read the book. So I had like major spoilers, but I still loved it. I think about it all the time, and so I think like 5 stars, and the production of it was really good, but like probably somewhere near 5 stars because I literally think about it every single day. It's kind of haunting me, but like in a good way. Next up is House of Hollow. This follows 3 sisters that were kidnapped when they were younger in Scotland, and then like when they came back they were different. Like they had completely white hair and like their eyes turned black or something like that, and I don't know, just some like physical differences, and then they all seem to be like tethered together somehow. It's a very fairy tale-esque book, and it's fun because it's just so weird and bizarre and like magical, and there's a lot of runes in it too, which is fun. I overall just really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting, and I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to keep reading. I was very interested. I don't know if this is like a content warning, but basically there's a lot of vomiting in this book to a point where it's just kind of excessive, because a lot of things are described as like rotting or something like that, and so it kind of makes sense, but it's like a lot of it. And I can usually handle that stuff pretty well, but it was to the point where I was like eating food and then I was like, okay, I have to put this book down for the moment. I give it about like 4 stars. Next, I read This Is Pleasure. It's a super short story, and it's about this guy who has like sexual assault in the workplace or sexual harassment in the workplace charges, allegations. I don't know legally like where he's at. Like, they have to go to trial. He hasn't gone to trial yet, but I don't know how the legal system works very well. And so you get his point of view and one of his closest female friends' point of view. Okay, she's kind of like backing him up no matter what, and like she's even had a weird experience with him, and she's like, yeah, you know. I would definitely check out the content warnings because it's a small book, but it's intense. And I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was interesting and well written, and I thought it was cool to see the other perspective, and not in a way that's to like gain sympathy for them. But I just didn't love it. I don't know. Next, I read Sisters, and I kept getting so confused because I just finished House of Hollow, which is about 3 sisters that kind of have like weird spooky bonds, and then Sisters is about 2 sisters that have like a weird spooky bond, and it's like I was getting so confused because I was like, yeah, they have, no, the other one had those, like, no, who can do what here? I don't understand. But regardless of that, I loved it. I thought it was so good. There's a poem in the beginning. Good. Intense. Where'd you go? Okay. She's scaring the crap out of me. The story was good, and I liked that you got to, at one point you get to see the mother's point of view as well, and her opinion on her 2 daughters. And it's just, it's really interesting, and like, I just really enjoyed it. Okay, and that is it for July. So let's move on to August, where I forgot that I read a few books. No. Yes, you can lay on the blanket, you cannot chew on the blanket. First off, I read Mexican Gothic. Nope, you can't have this blanket anymore. I listened to this through my library, and it was so interesting. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. It's just not hitting right. I don't know. In the beginning, I was just kind of like, meh, you know. And I had some suspicions about like what was going on, and they were like adjacently right. I was at a very no, I was at a very shallow point, and it just went way deeper than I had thought. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it. I still need to think on that. Next up, I read Beach Read, and there's like a funny story with this one because when I first saw Beach Read, I assumed it was like 2 girls on a vacation trip, you know? Because I'd never really looked at the cover that closely or read the synopsis. I just know that people liked it, and I really just thought it was like 2 girls hanging out in the summer, having fun, you know? And then at some point, I think I read the wrong description or like I just messed something up, because then I thought it was a thriller, and I was like, oh, it's just one of those thrillers with like a really deceptive cover, like how Bunny has like a bright yellow cover with pink and like so I was like, oh, okay. So I started listening to it, and the woman who voices the audiobook for it also voiced Gone Girl. And I could tell right off the bat, because in the beginning of Beach Read, there's a very similar monologue of like, perfect house, perfect wife, perfect family, blah, blah, blah. And like, such, like, I immediately was like, oh my God, it's her. And so I was like, yeah, it's totally a thriller, because Gone Girl was also a thriller. Like, audiobook people have genres or something. I don't think they do. She obviously doesn't. And then I continued reading and I realized it was a romance. But the fun thing about it was that I actually enjoyed it. So maybe I'm gonna give more adult romance a chance. The funny thing is I wouldn't have read it if I hadn't thought it was a thriller. Like, I was kind of like maybe interested, but I wouldn't have read it if I hadn't thought it was a thriller. But I'm so glad that I read it, because I loved it so much. and it made me want to write again. And have I? No. But it was so fun. I loved it. Then I read Tiny Beautiful Things. This is like a collection of letters, sort of. It's like an anonymous tip person writing letters back and forth, giving you advice. An advice column. Is that what it's called? I enjoyed them. I just didn't love it. I don't know. I thought they were well written. I just really wasn't interested in a lot of them. Next, oh my god, I forgot about this. Next, I read Hold Still by Nina Lacour. I love Nina Lacour so much. So much fun. I love her so much. It follows the main character, don't remember her name, and she has just recently lost her friend to suicide, and she's going back to school after all of that, and it's just really hard for her because people are like running up to her and being like, how'd she do it? And like things that are really insensitive and difficult for her to handle at such a young age. I think she's like just getting her license kind of age. As with most of Nina Lacour's books, it's got really intense themes, as well as like a lot about love and friendship and all that jazz. Kind of Alice Oseman-esque. Not the same though. I don't know how they're different, they just are. Yeah. And lastly, in August, I read Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. I loved Carry On. When did I first read it? Like sophomore year of high school? And I just fell in love with it. And then I found the audiobook on Scribd and I just listened to it all the time. Like I would listen to it to fall asleep and I would set a little timer and then I just pick up wherever it left off because I knew the book so well that I was just like, yeah, I know what happened in between then or something. And so I would just repeatedly listen to this book and I love it. I love the characters so much. And then the second book came out. I probably honestly gave it 5 stars. It doesn't deserve 5 stars. I might go back and fix that. It wasn't that good. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, there were some really good parts, but it was so short and just felt so odd. It was good. It was good, but not 5 stars good. And then I read Any Way the Wind Blows, and I was like, yes, it's back. I cried within the first 60 pages, and then 30 pages later, I was like the happiest human alive. I liked the plot of this one, and oh my god, I'm just thinking of all the things that happen in it, and it's so fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. This one is 5-star worthy in my opinion. So that is my reading wrap up for the past 2 months. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please give it a like and let me know if you've read any of these and if you liked them or if you didn't or whatever. I hope you guys have an amazing time, and I will see you later. Bye.